Hello everybody and welcome to the RDL show. Week 1 of our second season is in the books and I'm really excited to dive into the results and analyse each of the matches. However, due to some technical issues and, in Tommy's case, intelligence issues, we only have 3 replays available, including my own match. So we'll have to get a little bit creative. Let's begin with said idiot, Tommy, and the lucky birdless Articunos versus Twim and those super scary doggies. This was a face-off of 2 of my highest rated teams in the league. On one side, you have a ridiculously scary rain team with a zombie bear. On the other, you have a really well balanced, hard to break best of Gen 9 team. Let's take a look at the lineups. Doggies are bringing exactly what you'd expect. Rain, Intimidate, Chempao, Bear. Articunos have a really interesting team. The Thundy plus Moth, Conk plus Goth Cause, I highlighted in the preview, along with Milotic and Root Bonnet in support. This will be an interesting battle. Unfortunately, the hyper offense of the doggies overwhelmed the Articunos, with Urshifu plus Chempao crushing one game and Blood Moon the other, with only Milotic managing a KO for Tommy across both games. A real statement of intent from Twim, putting the league on notice. I know what this team does. Can you stop it? Tommy will have to dust himself off and be thankful that one of the hardest matchups is out of the way and there are 8 more to win, starting week 2 versus the Dirge. Piss versus Dodes. This on paper is such a close matchup. 2 teams with incredible base cores. But how will the super budget rotation pieces of the Politoads bear against the more balanced draft approach of the Piss? The lineups are very, very interesting. King Gambit with Tailwind support in Altaria, Trick Room support in Sinistra, and Monkey Dory to go fast, hit hard, fake things out. Water Ball on Intimidate, and Typhlosion to do, well, eruption things. Facing off against the 4 you'd expect, plus Barraskewda and Gliscor. And it's like on paper, this was a super close battle, with Piss taking it over 3 games. King Gambit absolutely popped off, with 6 kills and only 1 death. Goldengo clutching it out for the Politoads with 4 kills. I'd love to have seen a replay for this to understand why Ogerpon wasn't used. Monkey Dory is a problem for it, but redirection to get Goldengo set up and help it live, to me, seems like it would have been great here. On the Ice Shard side, it's as I would have expected, to be honest. I really do like that squad that Weeders has put together. It has some great matchups and will be very, very tough to prep for. Politoads have to figure out how to get the most out of the 4 heavy hitters. But this shows that Coach Chris is on the right path. Taking a tough matchup to Game 3 is a very, very good sign. Brelooms versus Latios. 2 returning coaches clashing week 1, and definitely a styles clash. One look at the Breloom squad and you've got a pretty good idea of what it's going to do. You just have to figure out the hidden tech the Starstreak is going to put in. On TCL's side, it's very tough to predict. Are they going Tailwind? Are they going Trick Room? Is it going to be a Booster Flutter? Specs? It's a really hard squad to prepare for, but it's not without its weaknesses. Let's take a look at the lineups. Starstreak, as expected, has his Rain Core, plus the 2 Weird Mons. I honestly have no idea what Fortress does except Iron Defense Body Press, and I've never seen Greedent in a competitive battle, so this I'm really looking forward to. For Thomas, we have the big guns in Flutter and Bear, with a Trick Room option. The Bull is a fairly obvious bring versus the mostly physical Brelooms, and Goodra hard walls Rilla with Sap Sipper set. Here we go. Game number 1. Slowking plus Lurantis on the lead for the Latios. Thunderous and Rillaboom for the Blazing Brelooms. Unless it's Covert Cloak on that Slowking, there is no Trick Room turn 1. You see the switch, so definitely no Trick Room. Out comes the Goodra. Back out into the Goodra slot. Sludge Bomb comes out, does a pretty good chunk to Lurantis. Superpower doesn't do a great deal to Rilla, but boosts its attack and defense thanks to Contrary. We are at a bit of a stalemate here. You can't switch in either of the Rain Mons with the Grass type on the field. And Rillaboom is kind of offering nothing with the Grass type and the Sap Sipper Mon on the opposite side of the field. Terra comes out from Starstreak. Onto the Thundy. Terra Poison. Looking to boost that Sludge Bomb damage. Doesn't quite get the KO. U-turn from the Rilla. Probably should have gone into the Lurantis just to be sure of the KO. But who is it going to bring out? It's the Politoed. But we do have the rain. Goodra sets up with a curse. Now what is the Lurantis going to do? It's another superpower. Does a good chunk of damage but doesn't get the KO, so safely have the rain set up for the Blazing Brelooms. That was a very, very risky play, but it's paid off. Politoed switches out. Back into the Rilla. Sludge Bomb going to go into the Lurantis, going to finish it off. Bye bye Grassy Bug. Dragon Claw from the Goodra. That is huge damage. Ursaluna comes out. Now we have some mind games. Is the Ursaluna going to protect? Is it going to Sword Stance? Is it going to go straight on the offensive? Perhaps with a high horsepower or something into the Thunderous. Thunderous switches out into the Basculegion. Ursaluna does protect. Looking to safely activate that Guts. Take out into the Goodra. Very, very safe play here from Starstreak. But Ursaluna is in a little bit of trouble here. You have to think it's going to defensively Terra. Here comes the Terra from TCL. Into the Ursaluna. Just as we thought. Terra normal. Looking to absolutely maximize the damage on those facades. Ice Fang into the Goodra. Interesting choice when it's defensively boosted. Woodhammer into the Ursaluna. Massive damage. Power Whip KOs the Basculegion. You've got to think the grassy terrain helped a lot there. Facade into the Rillaboom. Just over 50% HP. It's going to KO. That probably would have KO'd from full. Interesting that Starstreak chose to Ice Fang the Goodra there. You'd have thought a Wave Crash plus a Wood Hammer into the Ursaluna would have been the better play. Down to his final two, Thundy and Politoed. Sludge Bomb from Thundy's probably going to pick up the Ursaluna, and it does. Weather Ball from Politoed into Goodra, you probably think. Perish Song. That's an interesting play. Dragon Claw from the Goodra finishes off Thundurus. Not sure about that Perish there. I think I probably would have gone Weather Ball into the Ursaluna. You'd think that would probably pick it up. And a Sludge Bomb into the Goodra from the Thundy, just to bring that down even further. With Slowking not being on the field, that Perish Song was a bit of a wasted turn. Maybe he was resigning himself to defeat on this game 1 and trying to figure out what to do for game 2. Icy Wind doesn't do a great deal. Goodra sets up with a Curse. Slowking gets a Trick Room up. Probably could have just doubled into the Politoed and finished it off. Scald doesn't do a great deal. Power Whip though finishes the job. Game 1 to the New York Latios. On to game 2. What adjustments are going to be made? Straight away we see the Tauros coming out for the Latios and Fortress for the Blazing Brelooms. Let's see what the Fortress does. This is a very dicey turn for Starstreak. He can fake out the Tauros, but then Trick Room goes up. He can fake out the Slowking, but then he probably loses his Rillaboom. And what does Fortress do? Fortress actually switches out. And in comes Politoed. Good switch. Good switch. Sets up the rain. Reduces the fire type damage from the Tauros. Rillaboom does flake out the Slowking. And it's a Wisp from the Tauros. Oh no. Oh no. No Trick Room, but your Rilla's burnt. Probably better than actually losing your Rillaboom, but still, that's a hard one to take. Tauros probably has to switch out here. You have to think a Weather Ball from Politoed is coming into that slot. And he does switch. In comes the Goodra. Woodhammer going into the Slowking, who pops a Berry. Wow. Rindo Berry Slowking. Great tech. I'm not sure after the burn if that Woodhammer would have picked up anyway, but still. The Trick Room goes up. Now, if you're Starstreak, having seen the damage that +2 Power Whip did in game 1, you're going to want to switch out that Politoed. Because a Power Whip boosted by Grassy Terrain, he doesn't switch out. Grassy Glide doesn't get the KO on the Slowking. Grass Knot comes out. Respectable chip. And there's that Power Whip. And there's the KO. There's no way that crit mattered. Power Whip in Grassy Terrain. It's going to hurt. Especially after the chip from the Grass Knot. Fortress comes back out. Let's see what that Armored Bug can do. Ice Beam into the Rilla. Good damage. Fortress sets up with that Iron Defense. Probably a curse from the Goodra, you'd think. Yep. U-turn from the Rilla. Get some chip on that Goodra. Save the fake out on the terrain for later. Just the Thundy left. Here we go. You have to think this is a goal from the Slowking. Does great damage. Iron defense up to +4 on the bug. Dragon Claw from the Goodra. That's just crazy damage. Wild Bolt Storm, 100% accurate in the rain. Takes out the Slowking. And just like that, the rain stops. No more 100% accurate Wild Bolt Storms. And the grass disappears. What's coming out for the Latios? It's the Tauros again. They're still keeping that 4th Mon a secret. The Intimidate, not really going to matter. You have to think this is going to be a protect and switch for Starstreak. Get the recovery. Get the terrain back up. It's the protect. Doesn't switch out the Thunderous. Goodra sets up with another curse. Probably trying in vain to match those defense boosts with attack boosts. And a Raging Bull into Thunderous finishes it off. Not sure about letting the Thundy go down there. The Rilla's burnt, so the Rilla's not going to be doing a great deal. Getting it back out, get the terrain up, and sack it off to then safely bring back out the Thunderous, which is going to be able to do damage. Trick Room ends. We've got the fake out, we've got the grassy terrain back. You've got your fortress set up to +4 at least. We're coming out from the Brelooms. Probably onto the fortress. Terra Dragon. Now that's an interesting choice into a squad that contains a Fluttermane. Take out into the Tauros. Body press into the Goodra. Does good damage. Dragon Claw finishes off the Rillaboom. So it's down to Terra Dragon Fortress versus the world. It is a +4, so it should resist the super effective hits from the Goodra. But you've still got the worry of that Fluttermane in the back. Tauros misses the Wisp. That's a bit of luck there, but Body Press misses the KO. Rest. Oh no. Oh no. Goodra sleeps, gets all its health back, and it's Chesto Berry. Chesto Resto Goodra. Tauros doesn't miss the Wisp this time. Fortress gets himself up to +6. Dragon Claw from the Goodra. How much is this going to do? Not a lot. That's even less than I thought. But burn, nullifying the leftovers recovery. Grassy terrain probably going to disappear fairly soon. I think this is probably game over. Protect on the Tauros. Where's the body press going? Into the protect. Unfortunate. You could have got some more good chip on that Goodra. May have had a chance. But the terrain and the leftovers probably not going to save the Tauros, but certainly going to make it a little bit more difficult for Starstreak. Now you have to think it's going to be a protect turn for the fortress. Yeah, as you see, one turn of grassy terrain left. Protect. Get that health back. But if you're TCL, you probably take this opportunity to curse on the Goodra. No, he just goes for a double attack. Obviously didn't check terrain turns. It's a very, very tactical game here where Starstreak is having to hard read what TCL is going to do each turn. Post combat from the Tauros does nothing. Defenses drop, but we already saw how much damage the first body press does. Defense drops don't matter. Dragon Claw from the Goodra does about 30 damage, so that's now 2 more turns. The fortress is on a timer. It is burnt. So it's got no recovery, and what is the final mon from TCL? It is the Fluttermane. Checkmate. Protects his Flutter. Oh no, is he just fishing for another Goodra kill? Heavy Slam comes out into the Protect. Goodra, Dragon Claw. Gets the crit. Gets the KO. I think TCL was fishing for another Goodra kill there. Fantastic play from both coaches. I'm not sure about that Dragon Terror. Yes, it resists the fire, water, grass, but it makes you weak to the Fluttermane. I think into a team with Ursaluna and Fluttermane, something like a Flying Terror would have been a lot better. But beyond that one thing, I think Starstreak played this very well. Really good adjustment in game 2 to bring the fortress, which did cause a lot of problems. But given how little Ursaluna did in that game 1, you have to think Flutter is going to be the focus for game 2. I think those Latios are going to be a really big problem for the entire league. Now we have the San Diego Skeledirges versus the East Austin Archeops. Honestly, I'm not sure what to expect from either team here. Like I said in the season preview, both teams have good Pokemon, but don't seem to have a lot of synergy. So I'll be really interested to see what the lineups are. Okay, so Coach C bringing the Double Dose Double Dragon with Skeledirge. You kind of have to bring the Dirge versus the Dirges. Dragapult and Noivern. Breloom with those fast spores should be a real hindrance to Otter. And with Quag having access to Yawn, we end up with Double Ghost, Double Dragon, Double Sleep. That's a lot of doubles. I like it though. Dreadnought is just good damage with Jaw Lock and all those powerful biting moves. On Otter side, we have Trick Room with Roaring Moon. Not entirely sure how this is going to work. Is Hansi the decoy? And it's actually going to be Tailwind? Is Moon the decoy? Good mind games here. Tinkle, Goopy, Sailor Moon. With either of those two is going to be difficult for Coach C to stop with the 6 he's brought here. So let's get into game 1 and see how this plays out. Okay, we've got Quagsire and Noivern versus Sylveon, Roaring Moon. So we're going Tailwind here. But unfortunately for Chal, Sylveon can take out his Noivern. I think we're probably looking at a match Tailwind, let Noivern go down. What is the Quagsire going to do? Quick Claw Quagsire, I like it. Noivern switches out. And we've got the Skeleturge coming in. Safer switch, but it's going to hurt. Toxic Spikes. Okay, we're going for a stall strat here. There's the Tailwind. Hyper Voice. Not doing much to the Skeleturge, but that's a good 40% on the Quagsire. And its Throat Spray. So that's probably going to take out the Quag next turn. We've got the Terror from Coach C. Onto the Skeleturge. Terra Fairy. Okay, that's going to resist the knockoff. But we've now taken away Fairy Resist. Yep, not very effective. But knocks off the Throat Spray. No boost for you, buddy. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Disarming Voice. Okay. Okay. I see you cooking here. And Stealth Rocks. I am fascinated. You don't see hazards in VGC very often. The Disarming Voice is a good call on Skeleturge as well, with it being fairy coverage into Roaring Moon and proccing Throat Spray. Unfortunately, it took way too much damage from that second Hyper Voice. Another Quick Claw proc. Wow. Oh, it's into Protect though, unfortunately. Knock off. Takes out the Skeleturge. Quagsire lives another turn. Oh, Noivern comes back out, but with no Terror to protect it, it's probably going down. This is probably going to be a double KO for Sylveon here. There's the knockoff. That's a lot of damage. Heavy duty boots. And the Sylveon's faster than the Noivern. That's interesting. That's a lot of speed investment on that Sylveon. Dragapult. Oh no. Oh no. I'm not sure what Coach C can do here. All Otter needs to do is protect and Hyper Voice. There's the protect. Dragon Darts comes out. Doesn't affect the Sylveon. Hyper Voice takes home the game 1. Yeah, I'm really not sure what Coach C can do here. Hazard strat didn't work. 2 dragons into a Sylveon team with only 1 Terror available is going to be hard to pull off. Let's get into game 2 and see what happens. Here we go. We've got Skeleturge Noivern on the lead this time. And yeah, just as expected, a re-up from Otter. Terror coming out from Otter. Yep. Into the Roaring Moon. Resist that Disarming Voice. Terror flying. So we're probably going to see some acrobatic shenanigans here. Terror comes out from Coach C. Is it going on the Noivern? No, it's on the Skeleturge again. I'm really not sure about that. Really not sure about that. Tailwind comes out from Otter. You know the Sylveon's faster. Is it going to KO without that boost? Yes, it is. That's a gamble you were going to have to take. Here's the disarming voice. It's not going to KO anything, but it is going to proc the throat spray on the Skeledirge. Here comes the Dragapult. That was a horrible turn 1 for Chal. What can he get going with this Dragapult though? We know Dragon Darts is not going to do a great deal here. It can't hit the Sylveon. It's going to be neutral into the Roaring Moon. There's the Acrobatics. Into the Skeledirge. Doesn't pick up the KO. The Sylveon outspeeds a Dragapult? That's insane. That is absolutely insane. What is that? A no bulk super speedy Eevee. Kicking ass and taking names. Wow. I knew Sylveon was a strong Pokemon, but this is nuts. And there's the Breloom that I thought should have been led. Poor thing, double weak with no terror. And there it is. Acrobatics picking up the 2-0 win for Mad Scientist Otter. That Sylveon is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But Coach C, with the squad he's got available, this was always going to be a horrendous matchup for him. Otter's experience showed. He kept it simple, went fast, spammed a really powerful move. Sky Spam has been replaced by Pixel Spam. Who is going to be able to stop it? Now, finally, let's take a quick look at the Woobats versus the incredibly dangerous Albuquerque Appleton. Sun versus 222. Quick look at the teams, and most of the Woobats squad you could say is probably not that surprising. Great Tusk has a pretty good matchup into the team. Bringing the Sun, probably a good idea. Sableye just a menace. The Sunflora maybe a little bit surprising, but it's a grass type into a Dondozo team. Makes sense. And of course, Empoleon for Haze. If you look at the Appletons though, surprisingly, no Dondozo Tatsugiri. Instead opting for Colossal and Klefki. Let's get into game 1. Colossal plus Sneasel facing Sableye and Great Tusk. Great Tusk's almost always going to be booster attack. Win 1 Terra from Wheeze. Into the Colossal. Water. So now here is where the team sheet error comes in. On the team sheet, that's a Terra Grass Colossal. Sableye sets up the light screen expecting a special attacking Colossal. There's the Surf, which, because of the Terra, procs the Steam Engine, but not the weakness policy. Fire Punch comes out, does decent chunk to Great Tusk, and high horsepower into the now water type, doesn't get the KO. Protect comes out from Cole. Icicle Crash from the Sneasel. Whoa, that's incredible damage, and gets the flinch. Snarl from Sableye isn't doing a great deal. Comes out on the Tusk. And Sableye drops a Wisp onto the Colossal, neutering its attack even further. Fire Punch doesn't do a great deal to Sableye now thanks to the burn, but gets a burn of its own. And the Surf comes out from the Sneasel. Again, not doing a great deal. Tusk switches out into the Sunflora, obviously thinking safe switch is going to Surf again. Fire Punch back into the Sableye, and there's the Surf, which again does very, very little. Knockoff, because of Sableye's burn, doesn't do a great deal, but gets rid of the possibility of weakness policy. Terra comes out from the Woobat side. Onto Sunflora. Terra buries Sunflora. Well, that's going to reduce the damage from the Icicle Crash. And removes the fire weakness. And that Icicle Crash still does an insane amount of damage. Knockoff gets rid of the Sash. And another flinch on the Sunflora. Attacks are real in this game. There's the light screen wearing off. Switch. Takes Sunflora out of danger. And in comes Ninetales to set up the sun. Rock Slide coming out this time. Super effective, but thanks to the burn, not doing a great deal of damage. But there goes that knockoff. Wow, that Sneasel's an absolute menace. The Snarl, again, not doing a great deal. The burn doesn't quite take out Colossal. Sneasel switches out to the Annihilate. Tails protects. Another Rock Slide. Sableye lives on one. That hidden Focus Sash. Oh, the Snarl into the Annihilate. It's not Defiant Ape. Interesting. That'd have been a 3+1 there. Burn finishes off the Sableye. But with everything on the Woobat side being such low health now, we are looking at a Game 1 victory for the Appletons. Take up from the Sneasel, finishes off Sunflora. Rock Slide gets the KO on the Ninetales. Three HP Great Tusk in the sun. I don't think that's going to do it. Surf comes out from the Sneasel. Gets his I think that was third KO. That Sneasel was an absolute menace. On we go to game number 2. How are the Woobats going to deal with Sneasel this time? Oh, but it's Ape and Klefki on the lead. Big switch up from the Appletons. But going for exactly the same on the Woobat side. Comes out from the Appletons. Gotta think this is the 8. It's not, it's the Klefki into Terra Grass. That's strange. That's a strange choice, knowing that Sableye has Will-O-Wisp. You'd think he'd want to protect the 8 from a burn. Drain Punch comes out into the Protect. Dazzling Gleam from the Klefki. Does a respectable amount of damage to Sableye. Knockoff, crits, but it's Assault Vest Ape. That's an interesting set. Nihilape switches out. In comes Armarouge. Will-O-Wisp doesn't affect the Armarouge. Oh, but this high horsepower will, and it's a one-shot. Oh, very, very unlucky whop there. Wheeze. Dazzling Gleam again does respectable damage from the Klefki. That's just going to sit there being bulky and annoying by the looks of it. 8 comes back out. Now you have to expect the Wisp into the 8 now. Yep, sure enough, there it is. 8 is burned. Threat is nullified. Drain Punch comes out, doesn't do a great deal to Tusk. Thanks to that burn. High horsepower connects and gets rid of the Ape. Another Dazzling Gleam finishes off the Sableye, almost gets the KO on the Great Tusk. Didi comes out. As expected if you've seen the Armarouge. Ninetales sets up the sun. Psychic Surge comes around. Backfield gets weird. Psychic Seed activates. Just to protect from the Tusk. Oh, Rain Dance on the Klefki. Fantastic call by Wheeze there. Encore, great choice. Lock in the Klefki into Rain Dance. Ice Spinner comes out. Actually finishes off the Klefki anyway. But importantly, removes the terrain. Dazzling Gleam KOs the Tusk. We are locked into rain now. There's no opportunity for Ronin to switch out the Ninetales to re-up the sun. Sunflora hits the field without its ability being activated. Oh, but we've got a helping hand from the Ninetales, boosting that Sunflora. Psychic does a huge amount of damage. Kick a train. Wow. Helping hand boosted, so It was dealing 1.5 times, but that's still crazy damage from that flower. Tech from the Ninetales, blocks the Psychic. Giga Drain finishes it off, leveling the match at 1 apiece. On to game 3. This is such a close battle. Humbug and Pop-Tart back to game 1 leads from the Appletons and exactly the same lead from the Woobats. The Tech blocks the Fake Out and the Fire Punch. Knockoff removes Colossal's weakness policy. No Surf Steam Engine shenanigans this time around. Protect on the Colossal. Icicle Crash comes out. It's over half, that's crazy. Brick Break into the Sneasel, correctly identifying the threat this time, taking it to Sash. Knockoff finishes the job. That Sneasel was such a menace in game 1. Indeed, he comes out this time. Are we going to see an Armarouge? Oh, we see a Terror from the Appletons. Onto the Indeedee. Terra Fairy Indeedee looking to boost those Dazzling Gleams. Sableye sets up the light screen. High horsepower into Colossal, takes it out. Terra boosted Dazzling Gleam. Almost gets the KO on the Great Tusk. That Assault Vested Annihilate hits the field. Enabled to Terra. Ronin forgets about the Psychic Terrain. Rock Slide doesn't get the job done. Ice Spinner comes out, removing that terrain, allowing the Wisp to go next turn. Dazzling Gleam though takes out both. Closing squad from game 2 hits the field. This time though, the sun is up for Sunflora. Terra comes out, probably into the Sunflora again. Yes. The Fairy Flower is here. Helping hands again from the Ninetales. Fire Punch. Oh, that does a bit more damage than wanted. And the Heal Pulse. Obviously expecting something. But that Dazzling Gleam helping hands boosted. Cleans it up. The Woobats take an incredibly close match, 2 games to 1. Little bit of a scrappy affair. probably down to both players being taken aback by the team sheet error. But mistakes happen. We learn, we move on. Very, very well played by Weeze. Some really, really interesting sets.